Mortal Kombat. After 1 year and 8 months, we've come to the end of Mortal Kombat. I have a lot to complain about Mortal Kombat 1, but I don't want to beat a dead horse. I got a whole library of complaints, rage, and rants, all that stuff about Mortal Kombat 1. I don't want to beat a dead horse. Instead, I just want to talk about what is Mortal Kombat 1, the definitive edition, about. Like, how have we come to this day where after 1 year and 8 months, we finally have a complete Mortal Kombat game that it doesn't really feel complete, does it?
No, like half done.
Okay. I guess we can go topic by topic. So, my biggest problem, and by the way, I'm not talking about gameplay in this video.
That's kind of been the story of the game, right? It's never felt like a finished game.
You know, when someone's talking, then Guillermo, don't jump in the middle because then I can't hear the other guy. Okay. Yagami, you normally have lots to say.
Yeah, man. I was saying, like, this game not feeling like it's done has been the story of this game since day one. Like, it released not feeling like it was complete, and now it's wrapping up feeling like it's wrapping up at a point that's too early. It came out too soon and it finished too soon.
Yes, absolutely. This game felt like a side project, like they just decided to do a side project that, okay, we can just mess around here and try something, experiment with something, and it ended like an experiment. What do you say?
I mean, it was too fast, MK1. I thought it's gonna be Injustice 3, but they announced MK1 like May 23, I think, right?
Apparently Injustice doesn't make them much money, so they're just scrapping that. Anyway.
They're gonna focus on Mortal Kombat now, as they said.
Okay, well, anyway, in this video I'm not talking about gameplay because I have a little bit experience with the gameplay. I found it fun, personally. Like, if I look at the gameplay alone and just ignore everything else, I actually find the Mortal Kombat 1 as a fun game. But the problem for me is, as a Mortal Kombat fan, I have to take in everything else, including the story, the way the characters are written, and all these things. They add into my experience of Mortal Kombat. And when I'm not enjoying all that stuff, I can't dedicate myself to the gameplay. I don't want to dedicate myself to learning Sub-Zero or Liu Kang. If the story is like this, then it's like it's a bigger picture overall. I don't just look at the gameplay of the thing and say, okay, yeah, I can just survive with this. I need to like what I'm playing. I need to feel good about the characters, you know?
Yeah.
You need that connection.
Sorry?
You need the connection. It's like, I think it was Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That was where they said no Magneto, but it didn't matter because characters are just functions in a fighting game. And everyone was mad because, no, people like Magneto. They don't just like the way Magneto plays. They think Magneto's cool. So if you're giving us these characters that aren't these characters, like you said, you know, Liu Kang isn't Liu Kang really.
Sonya.
Sub-Zero definitely, you know, Scorpion rather definitely ain't Scorpion.
Yeah. Good example. Good example.
So like, you don't feel it the same way. Like it's like you're playing a knockoff.
100%.
Yeah. Definitely a knockoff.
Also Tanya, she doesn't look like Tanya. Also her gameplay is different.
Yeah,
and her personality is totally different.
She looks like a whole different person.
It's just like you could put a different costume on Tanya in MK1 and call her something else, and then maybe should be accepted, you know?
I was gonna say, the role she has in the story, like, that could be a new character, and just call them a new character, and, you know, they'd at least have an interesting dynamic, and you wouldn't be comparing them to old Tanya constantly and going, well, that's not Tanya. Even if they are cool, it's not her.
Exactly. The story with this game is what I have the problem with the most. When I watched the story, it really irritated me so I can't dedicate myself to the game. Now that might sound stupid to some people. Well, some people, I don't think they're fans of Mortal Kombat like I am. Every single day I live and breathe Mortal Kombat. I'm like, look at me. I'm doing the Lin Kuei thing. I'm trying to be like Sub-Zero. See? And which Sub-Zero have I picked to try and be like? The one from Deadly Alliance. I don't want to imitate Sub-Zero from MK1. MKX1 is cool, but I just don't like something about him. It's the story, and man, this video feels all over the place.
I mean, is
Also, I
that
don't
bad
like
thing, though? Because I think this game has left people feeling kind of all over the place. People feel really conflicted about this game because we don't know what the future of NRS looks like. Before, we had a kind of schedule of like Mortal Kombat, then Injustice, then Mortal Kombat, then Injustice, and now we've got 2 Mortal Kombats in a row. We've got the worst Mortal Kombat performance probably of NRS's era, and no Injustice before or probably after. So it's like, what's even happening? And we don't know because communication has been terrible from NRS for years now.
Yeah.
Everything's a mess.
There's that thing that Ed Boon said where they would be supporting the game for years to come, and lots of people have come out and said Ed Boon lied, Ed Boon lied. And you know, I don't want to attack Ed Boon like that. He probably thought, yeah, we are going to support this game for years to come. He's a grown adult. Why would he say something and lie?
See, that's the principle. Like I understand both arguments. I understand people that feel mad because, you know, like it's not true. What he said is just flat out untrue now. And I do also understand, like, there's going to be stuff outside Boone's control, obviously. But, you know, my background is customer service, and the most important thing when you're dealing with people with your customers is under promise, over deliver. Do not make promises you can't make good on, whether or not they're within your control, especially if they're not within your control to do. And that's the situation Ed put himself in. He said something that, you know, he might have thought it, but if he couldn't guarantee it, probably not his place to say it then. Not a good idea to open his mouth in that regard. Because now he's made himself a liar.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess most people would look at it that way. And they're not wrong to think like that.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to hold it, you know, him personally like, oh man, I dislike this guy now. Like, no, it's business. You know, we all know how it is. We're adults. But, you know, he has set himself up in a bad position because of doing it.
Apparently, Mortal Kombat 1 failed because Chaos Reigns didn't sell very well. Does anyone know if that's true?
That was the rumor from the insider. And that's the same person that said that the support was ending, so it seems legit. It wouldn't surprise me. Okay,
I'll just go with that then as if it is true. So, Chaos Reigns failed big time, and it failed big time with me. You know, Mortal Kombat 1's story itself was so bad that I didn't think what they could possibly do worse. I did not think that they could do any worse than it. It's not possible. And then what did they do? They went and made Chaos Reigns, which is 100 times worse. The worst... Oh, God, I don't have the words to describe it. The worst abominable garbage, disgrace, trash I've ever experienced in my life. The Chaos Reigns story. Absolutely disgusting, horrendous. The horrendicity of it is just... gosh, I don't know what to say.
I think Chaos Reigns really emphasizes how NRS doesn't know what they're doing, too. Like, they don't know what their fans like. They released the first story, and, like, okay, I will ask here, who does everyone think the best characters are in the, you know, MK1? I would say Baraka and Reptile.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going... I'll answer and then you guys can answer too. The best character to me is the one cutscene in the story where the old Titan Raiden comes back and he has that deep voice. That's the best character to me.
Yep.
Classic Raiden.
And we don't even get to play him. We don't even
No,
get
yeah, we
to
don't
have
get
him.
Just like Cyber Smoke, we don't get them. But like, I think it's safe to say, like, most people, you know, they tended to like Baraka and Reptile because you know they were pretty important in the story and they were, you know, sympathetic. They are nowhere in Chaos Reigns. There's nothing with them. How can you miss like that? It's like doing a follow-up to Winter Soldier with Civil War and like, oh yeah, Bucky's not in this movie. Like, are you high?
God. The Chaos Reigns story itself. I've been through it twice on a stream, and twice at the end I actually felt miserable. And the reason is, look, I totally understand the angle of, okay, destroy the whole universe, make a new universe, and we want it to be a peaceful one this time. I understand that, and it's not necessarily a bad idea. It can be a good idea, but the execution of it was, horse shit. Actually, horse shit is useful. You can use horse shit to grow vegetables and all that stuff. But this one, you have all the girl characters being girl bosses, and you have all the guy characters just being pushed down and not doing anything cool. And I had to compare it with Tekken, because I was watching Tekken. And I keep on mentioning this, but the fight between Kazuya and Jin, that was so cool. And every time I watch that, I keep thinking, why can't we have this in Mortal Kombat? Why can't we have a scene where Scorpion is like, with modern day graphics, all the hellfire comes out around him and he looks at Sub-Zero and he's like, Sub-Zero, I will get you for whatever you did, because that other storyline is over now. And then Sub-Zero looks at him and he has ice all around, you know, with amazing graphics. It should be better than Tekken. And then he looks at Scorpion and says something like, I tire of like having to keep on teaching you this lesson, old man. And then they have an epic cutscene battle. Instead, what kind of battles do we get in Mortal Kombat 1 in the cutscenes?
Nothing.
They don't even use their powers.
No. They're fighting like hand-to-hand combat. Is weird because like Sector she can use, you know, kind of like Iron Man, but she's fighting against Baraka hand-to combat, you know.
Hand-to-hand combat. I don't remember much of Chaos Reigns, but was it hand-to-hand combat in Chaos Reigns too?
Yeah, Sector, for example.
What a shame.
Also, they have Rain die because he gets crushed, and then in the very next scene they show the evil Chaos Rain turns into water. How are you going to crush a guy to death that can turn into water?
It's retarded.
It's really dumb. But Napa, like you said, the Jin versus Kazuya thing, I don't know what your Tekken background is, but I've been playing Tekken since Tekken 1.
Okay.
And
my Tekken background is the last time I played Tekken was Tekken 3 on the PS1. And then I only bought Tekken 8 because I was so pissed off with MK1. So that's my background.
So I've played every Tekken, and you know I did the same thing. I got a PlayStation to get Tekken 3 back in the day. That's why I got the system. And Jin has always been one of my mains. And going into the story of Tekken 8, like, it's goofy as hell. Like, Tekken's always had a goofy story, whatever. But like you said, they make it cool, and it feels sincere. And I think one of the coolest things we've ever seen in a fighting game is the fight with Jin and Kazuya, where Jin goes through his different fighting styles against Kazuya, and you can see the progression of his style and like how he's grown as a character.
Yeah,
you could never do that with Mortal Kombat character now.
That's amazing, because I haven't experienced Tekken like that, but I can just imagine the fans who went through every single Tekken, that if they played that one fight, they would have been like, oh, this is Tekken 1, oh, this is Tekken 3, oh, this is Tekken 5, you know? And then they get to... There's that one in Tekken 8 where he turns into an angel. That's something new for Tekken 8, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's something extra. He has an angel form, and then after the angel form, they lose their powers, and they just go through Tekken 1 to, I guess, Tekken 7. Is that right?
Yeah, it's basically like Jin all the way from Tekken 3 through Tekken 7, and then into 8. But
That's
then, of course,
amazing.
you've got Kazuya, who's Tekken 1 and 2, with being regular Kazuya and then Devil Kazuya. So it's the entire series.
That's amazing. I'm amazed by that. But what do we get in Mortal Kombat? We don't even have... the throwbacks to the old Mortal Kombat in MK1. One of them, for example, where in the MK1 story where Shang Tsung, Quan Chi, and Raiden, they're working together, right? They're blasting together, and it reminds you of Deception, right? I want to like it, right? But what are they doing? They're just blasting a portal. There's nothing special about the scene. They're just trying to break a portal. Like, you can take a sledgehammer and break the portal. It's nothing special. It's stuff like this is just wasted. It should be like some big character, some big dragon character. It doesn't have to be Onaga, right? It could be a character that comes out like a big dragon and everyone thinks, oh, this is Onaga. But what if it's not Onaga, right? And they're all three trying to blast him. I feel like NRS don't put thought into what they're doing. As a fan, you want to see stuff from the old brought into the new as just a reminder, but you want the game to be good as well. You want the game to be sick as well. But it's none of those things. It just feels like NRS went back into the previous games and thought, oh, okay, we'll just pick this. We don't know anything about it. We're just going to pick this, and this, and we'll just try to remake it in the new game.
Well, whenever they want money, they key jangle the old stuff. Like, oh, here's Deception Sub-Zero. Like, oh, good job, guys. You couldn't even get it right because that's not what, Or it's MK2 Sub-Zero, but he's got the scar from, like, MK3. And it's like, okay, it's not even the right character, guys.
Have you
At
seen
the end
this?
of MK1 story, they tried to make Armageddon,
They tried to make Armageddon, yeah.
Yeah, but it didn't work because all those characters we don't know, these just people from other timelines or multiverse.
They tried to... So in Tekken, right, in Tekken 8, you had that... At the end, you had that simple scene of going from Tekken 1 to Tekken 8, right? With Jin's fighting style. It's a simple idea, and in my opinion, is executed well. In Mortal Kombat, they tried to do a similar thing, but did try to make it way overcomplicated. They tried to cram Mortal Kombat 1 to Mortal Kombat Armageddon in one game. What do you think?
Terrible idea.
A terrible execution. It's the thing. I compare all the current big name fighting games like Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8. Now we've got Fatal Fury: City of the Wolves, and Mortal Kombat. The one difference, big difference between all of them is the other three are all built on legacy that's still there in the game if you go into the new game. If you go into Street Fighter 6 and talk to the characters in the story mode, they tell you all stuff from the past games. There's history there. Like you said with Tekken 8, there's the whole huge history between Jin and Kazuya that they're building on and that they build up in the story.
Yeah.
And if you play City of the Wolves, it's same thing when you go through the story mode. There's all this history they're building on. They're wrapping up storylines from 20 years ago. You go into Mortal Kombat 1, and no one knows what's going on anymore because it's a whole new timeline with characters that are like this character in name only. And the only time we get anything classic is either something they want to charge us $5 or $10 for a skin or for a color scheme or whatever. Or they're doing it like, oh, here's Cyber Smoke in this one fight that you can't even redo without redoing the whole story mode. And no, you can't get it as a skin. No, you can't get him as a character. No, you can't get him as a cameo. Oh, thanks, guys.
Cyber Smoke. Was he in MK1?
Cyber Smoke?
Cyber Smoke, yeah. Where are you referring him from?
He can come up as one of the random fights when you're fighting at the end of the first story mode in the Armageddon pyramid thing. You can just randomly fight Cyber Smoke.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yep, and that's the only time you can see him in the game.
Okay. I had the next topic in my mind, but I forgot what it was. Feel free to fill up the silence while I try to remember.
I mean, where does anyone think we go from here? Is a big question. Like, what does Mortal Kombat do at this point? What does NRS do at this point? I don't even know.
Thanks, you reminded me. So, Mortal Kombat went from... Okay, it destroyed its whole universe and tried to make something new. And it was a total flop, total fail. And what they should have done instead was go... If they wanted something different, right? They should have went into the past where the great Kung Lao was. Oh, you know what? I had an idea this morning. I was thinking, what if Mortal Kombat went way back into the past where there was no Earth Realm, there was nothing, there was only Elder Gods. And then between the Elder Gods we could see a story of how they interact with the One Being. And maybe Mortal Kombat could have been invented like that. Maybe the Elder Gods relinquished their immortality and create a tournament, Mortal Kombat, maybe. And
Like maybe that's how they took down the One Being.
yeah, maybe. And the tagline could be something like, watch how it all started from the beginning. You know? That sounds cool.
But they have no balls. Like we saw that with like, you know, like you said, even the Kung Lao thing, the Great Kung Lao timeline could have been very cool. People were interested in that after MK11. And that's what everyone said. Everyone was saying like, oh, it's going to be in the past in Great Kung Lao. We're going to see all like ancestors of characters like, a cryomancer that's part of Sub-Zero's bloodline and an old Shirai Ryu, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And you know what I said? I was like, it's never going to happen because NRS doesn't have any balls. They'll never do it.
It's really sad as well because look how rich MK lore is. You have the history of the cryomancers, which we know nothing about. I think they're from Outworld or Edenia or something, but we haven't got... No, I think they might be from Edenia or Outworld. I'm not exactly sure because I went through the Conquest. Sorry?
It used to be Outworld, and then they changed it to Edenia in the new timeline.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's been changed.
Okay. Yeah, so there was some lore in the Conquest mode which we found. And it was something to do with cryomancers not being from Earth. So we could have an old Sub-Zero from that time. Apparently the Sub-Zero that trained Shujinko is not the Kuai Liang or Bi-Han that we know. It was an old Sub-Zero from previous times. Someone said it. I think it was Ed Boon or somebody else. So that was something really interesting to know. We could have experienced him maybe. Or, just some other Sub-Zero from the past. There's also characters which are over 10,000 years old. They still would have been alive back then. In the Great Kung Lao's time. Yeah, they could have even returned in the game and it would not even be weird because they're 10,000 years old.
Yeah, like Goro, Shao Kahn.
Yeah, Baraka, Katana, Melina, they should all be that old easily. Reptile.
So that's half of the roster done easily. All you have to do is come up with new characters for the time where modern day Mortal Kombat characters can't be existing in the Great Kung Lao's time. Gosh, what is NRS doing? Who came up with this garbage? MK1 story.
Dominic.
Of course I know
Dominic
the answer to that question. Dom. We need an overhaul of people working on Mortal Kombat because there was this one video. There was this one video I made where I exposed, because it's very clear in the combat cast. It was the Chaos Reigns combat cast where the staff members, they don't even know anything about Mortal Kombat. You can see it in their faces. One of them was asked, what was your favorite part about all this Mortal Kombat stuff? And his answer was, I don't know, all of the above, I like everything. It clearly shows he has no passion. He has a passion for his own job probably, doing the cinematic directing or whatever he does. But he doesn't have a passion for Mortal Kombat, and that's a problem. For me, this is where the leaders should step in. For example, Ed Boon or previous MK people like John Vogel or something, they should step in and tell them this is how we want Mortal Kombat to look. Apparently, that there was a conversation between Mike Hollow and an NRS developer. So from that conversation, sorry?
His name is his handle is Blood Count.
Blood
He's a
Count,
designer.
yes. That's right, yeah. One of the things I picked up in that conversation was the leaders, they let the team do whatever they want, and then they don't want to impose on the team what to do. So when the team submits to them the things that they want, they just kind of tweak it a little bit, and I think that's wrong. I think Ed Boon should step in and say, this is how we want Mortal Kombat to look. This is how it should be. This is Mortal Kombat. Let me introduce you to Mortal Kombat. We depend on Ed Boon to do that, and he doesn't do it, apparently.
I think one of the big damning things he said. I don't know if we've talked about this before, Napper, but my schooling's in game design. That's what I went to school for.
Yeah, I think I remember you saying something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the idea, and this, I don't want this to come off wrong because I'm not criticizing Blood Count because he designed in MKX. He designed Liu Kang, who's very cool in MKX. It's an awesome character. And it feels very cool for Liu Kang. So this is not a criticism of anything he did for his work. I think he did a very good job.
Yeah.
But he said himself that he was new to the team, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, here, design Liu Kang." And can you imagine being in charge of Mortal Kombat and going, "We'll just have one of the new guys design Liu Kang and just do whatever"? Like, guys, that's like your main character. This needs to be hands-on. There needs to be guidance here of what makes Liu Kang for Mortal Kombat.
Exactly, 100%. I'm really glad you said that. This is exactly how Mortal Kombat is running at NRS, and this is a major problem. This is why we're not getting the Mortal Kombat that we want. We're not getting the Mortal Kombat that's supposed to be Mortal Kombat, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, imagine if I just joined randomly. You. Okay, I can't speak for you because I don't know your experiences, but if I joined a Tekken team and I was a designer and they said to me, design what's a beloved character? I don't know.
Heihachi.
Heihachi, yeah. Design the next Heihachi. Okay. I don't know anything about him. My job would be to go back into the past and try to... I'll do the best I can to research Heihachi, but you know what I don't have? I don't have the experience of the people who experienced Heihachi all the way from beginning to end. So I can't recreate that experience for them without talking to them, without finding out from them, right? And
100%.
I think NRS has made a big mistake here. Letting new people do all the stuff, and then the leaders are not even leading them. They're just saying, okay, yeah, we'll just fix up this little bit here and there. We don't want to criticize you too much. Ugh. Mortal Kombat has to be where Ed Boon comes out. I don't want to tell Ed Boon what to do. I don't care what happens with Mortal Kombat, but I like Ed Boon. I've always liked Ed Boon. I'm not gonna hate Ed Boon. If I ever met Ed Boon in real life, I'll be excited. I'll get an autograph. I'll get a selfie with him. I don't disrespect Ed Boon like everybody else does. But I just wish Ed Boon would just step up on the first day and say, this is Mortal Kombat. This is what it has to look like. Go. You guys are good at designing. Go and design this, what I want, my vision. Unfortunately, I don't think this is happening in NRS.
You don't have leaders leading. You have people, like you said, letting them do whatever they want, and sometimes that works out. Like MKX Liu Kang, it worked out. But now we see a bunch of stuff in MK1 where it didn't work. Oops.
Yeah. Apparently, the gender swapping thing with the what's their name, Cyrax and Sector. So, from the blood count argument, they outsource the concept art to another place, and then the concept art comes back, and then they just work on that concept art. So, when they outsourced Cyrax and Sector, they came back as women, and blood count looked at the like female versions of Cyrax and Sector and thought, what the hell, what's this? Why are they women? Even the team there at Mortal Kombat who are new to it, they're looking at it and thinking, what is this? And somebody's forcing them to do the concept art like this. That means somebody in the timeline somewhere said to the concept people, we want these two to be female.
100%. 100%.
It's logical, isn't it? It can't be any other way.
It's the
Yeah, they
push.
would have given. Yeah, go ahead, Kortez. Sorry.
They swapped their gender to push an agenda, which is female empowerment, basically.
You know, to be unbiased, like, if we just take out the gender stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think that Mortal Kombat is trying to push an agenda of transgenderism. I just think they tried to make female characters. They just tried to change it because it's a new timeline, and then it just got received wrongly. I don't know.
I think it's probably also like a matter of balance for the DLC, because like all the guest characters are all guys, and there's not really a lot of female characters in the DLC at all. So they were like, well, we're planning Sector and Cyrax for DLC. Let's just, make them female. And we know it had to be the case because they're referred to as guys in the first part of the story, in one of the endings.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Behind ending, Sector was a guy. I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we know it came later. It was not a decision they had in mind to start with.
What a disaster. I wonder what the story was. I wonder what's this. I wonder what the story was behind Cyrax's exaggerated accent. Like, is this like to tick the box of multiculturalism in Mortal Kombat or something? When Mortal Kombat is comprised of all kinds of crazy things. You got centaurs, you got shokans, you got name it, you got Oni. Now we have to put somebody in there who has an exaggerated African accent. Like, I don't get it.
I do wonder if that was like directed on the part of voice direction of NRS, or if that's something the voice actress came to them with and was like, oh, I'd like to do this for the character, because that's possible too. Because like, I don't think her voice is bad for Cyrax. It's the accent. I know some people are like, that are familiar with the regional accents are like, oh, it's really off and weird. But as someone that's not, I'm not around that accent, so I can't make a quality judgment about it. It sounds fine to me the way she talks, but I do wonder if that was something that she said that she wanted to do or try or offered it to them, or if they asked her or like came to her to get it specifically. Like, I'd be curious about that.
Okay. The problem with it, the problem with it is it seems to stand out from everybody else. So everybody else has a certain way of talking, and then this one just stands out. Like, you're foreign.
Yeah, it's weird.
You're really foreign. Okay. Is there anything else about the story to mention, or are we wrapping up the story?
They also gender swap the dragon in Chaos Reigns.
Oh, here's something. Sorry, I don't have a comment on what you just said, Guillermo, but here's something as well. They don't have like sub-bosses and bosses anymore. It's that concept is gone in Mortal Kombat 1. Who is the sub-boss in MK1? Who's the big boss in MK1? It's just a normal person.
You're right. I didn't even really think about that, like, cause like you just fight Quan Chi and Shang Tsung at
Shang
the end, and they're just regular characters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's-
they're not hard to fight them. I mean, they're too easy.
But they're just regular characters. There's nothing special about them. There's no big boss sort of thing with them. Not even Havoc, Titan Havoc. It's just Havoc.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that barely even like registered. Like everything was such a disaster. I didn't even think about that. But you're right.
Amazing. Yeah. So we've had Armageddon, I think, was the last one where we had the sub boss is either Onaga or Morlock, all the previous sub bosses. So that's what that was. In MK9, it was Shao Kahn, the final boss, but who was the sub boss? I don't remember. Was it Chang Tsung?
Goro and Goro.
Oh yeah, okay.
Goro Kintaro.
So that
There's
counts.
actually
That
3
counts.
sub bosses actually.
In MKX, I think it was Goro Sobos.
Yeah, probably was Goro. And then you have Shinnok at the end, who turns into Super Devil Demon Shinnok, which is
What?
good. It's cool. I like that Super Devil Demon Shinnok. It's like
Yeah, it's a fire design.
it's
And it's a
something.
callback to mythologies.
Yeah, that too. And Mortal Kombat 4 as well, because in MK4 you have the sub boss as Goro and the final boss as Shinnok. And
Oh,
then
true.
they just mixed in this extra form for him, which is really great. Wow, I just praised MKX. That's amazing. MK11, I don't know who the sub boss is, but
There's no Sobos. It's just Chronica, the boss.
Chronica, yeah.
Yep.
And Chronica. So, with Chronica, I think, because I heard Ed Boon introduce Chronica, and the way he introduced her was, oh, we finally have a girl boss now. We finally have a female boss now. So, to me, that's like somebody in the background was sick of the male dominance and wanted, we have to have females now. We have to have females dominating the scene. Well, not exactly like that, but we need to have female representation somewhere. Let's make the final boss as a female. And that's why Ed Boon came out saying, oh, the final boss is a girl now.
It's supposed to
I
be a
like how
male.
they acted like that's anything special in a fighting game when like there's been female bosses in fighting games for like 30 years.
Really?
Ironic.
Okay. You know what? If I think about it, I can probably think of some.
Yeah, you've got Dural in Virtua Fighter. You've got
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Mizuki in Samurai Showdown 2, and that's old as hell.
Mm-hmm. There's probably girl bosses in other games as well, like shooting games,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like a forced representation to have Chronica as a female. Apparently it was
It's
supposed to
a
be
male.
somebody called Kronos or something, and they changed
Chronico.
it into Chronico.
Yeah, I think, yeah, Chronico.
Yeah, and they changed it into Chronica.
I think the worst is like she sucks as a boss too. She's terrible.
Yeah,
She's so
Yeah.
lame.
my personal experience with fighting Chronica is you can't do combos on her, and that's not fun. You just have to try and get her with 3-hit combos or something, and it's not a fun gameplay to fight her. It's not fun to fight Shao Kahn in MK9, but at least you can. I don't know really. What do you think?
He doesn't ignore giant like parts of mechanics of the game where like, oh, you can't sweep him and you can barely combo him and he's always floating. It's like, no, he's just big and tough and has some super armor. Whereas
Mhm.
Chronica's just like, oh, she just fundamentally plays a different game where it's not as interesting.
I wonder if MK1 was so rushed that they couldn't even think of a final boss,
Yeah.
Definitely.
And
Wouldn't
they
surprise
couldn't-
me.
and they couldn't think of a sub boss either. Maybe they didn't even know what they wanted to do with the story. That's why they didn't have a sub boss or a final boss. Okay, what else is there to mention about the story before we move on to other topics like online and whatever?
The chapter substance,
The what?
Each character has a chapter.
Chapter.
They need to get rid of the chapter system.
Yeah, exactly.
Get rid of that.
Yeah.
Chapter
Yeah.
systems.
You're the
Yeah.
story guy, so you probably have the best say about it. Me personally, with my own worthless opinion, I think the chapter thing is dumb because when you're playing with one character, the character you're playing with has to win, and that's a problem.
Especially with the way they set up the fights. It's like they try to go out of their way to make the fights make no sense by the time you're done with the whole game. It's like, wait, why did he beat that guy but then lose to this? Like, that doesn't make any sense, but they don't care.
Yeah, like
'Cause like you said, they have to win.
Yeah.
Tonya.
I had the
I mean,
exact.
Tonya, she defeated Boop Style Bottom.
I had the exact experience with the tier list when I was doing my tier list with the story of MK1. Eventually, I gave up on the tier list because the characters kept jumping around in a loop. Like one character would beat this character, but that character could beat a character who beat the character that beat them. You know? It just jumps around in
It's
a loop.
awful. I'm a giant nerd for that stuff. I love like lore and like, you know, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. Like I love the lore. And everyone knows one of the cool parts of that is like discussing like who beats who. You
Mhm.
can't do it with NRS Mortal Kombat. Nothing makes sense.
I'll give an example of one. So, Raiden's the champion of Mortal Kombat, right? But apparently
Yeah.
he can't beat Sub-Zero and Scorpion or Yellow Sub-Zero, because they are Lin Kuei, they are trained differently, and had they used their full power, everyone would have been on their asses. But Johnny Cage put them down in his mansion, both of them, at the same time. He put them on their asses. How can a proud Lin Kuei person who can dominate everybody be put on his ass? Two of
Yeah,
them.
and then Johnny goes on to win nothing later on.
Stupid.
See, this is one of the examples of many examples.
I just hate when people say that doesn't matter because it totally matters. Like
It
you
does.
need to know it creates stakes for like, this is going to be a tough fight. I'm wondering how he's going to win. Like you don't need to worry about that. It's just he's going to win because he has to win. It doesn't need to make sense. He'll just win, and it'll probably look easy by the time you get to the cutscene after the fight. It's like, what?
Yeah,
Why is this easy for him?
Exactly. It creates a kind of order in your mind. So, I grew up with Dragon Ball Z. So to me, Dragon Ball Z characters are the strongest there is because of one scene in my head. It's in the Saiyan saga where Vegeta and Nappa were standing away from a planet, and Vegeta blasted the planet with a ki blast from his hand, and the whole planet exploded. So to me, that's like the measuring stick for everybody else in fiction. So when I look at another character like Yujiro Hanma from Baki, his power is he can punch the ground and stop earthquakes. And then when you compare that with Gohan, who went to high school, who caused an earthquake by tapping the floor with his feet, like it creates that order in your mind. You see Yujiro as like a weak Saiyan, right? He's really strong, right? But you know that he's like a weak Saiyan. This order is thrown about all over the place in Mortal Kombat, and it's really frustrating. You don't know
can't
who's
get
stronger.
invested. Like, it was really impressive that Liu Kang can overcome Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat 2. Except not really, because, like, Katana can beat him up, and Kotal Khan can give him a really tough fight and almost beat him, even though Kotal Khan gets completely body bagged by Kung Jin somehow.
Yeah. And you also have Shao Kahn, General Shao from MK1. He's apparently the military commander of Outworld. So obviously he's been in many, many wars for thousands of years. He has the experience to dominate armies. Like he has experience of blood and guts and killing. War. War is different from fighting in a Mortal Kombat tournament. The one in MK1 anyway, where it's just martial arts. And then you have Raiden coming along from the farm. He trained on the farm. And he trained with the Shaolin for a few months probably. But then he goes and defeats the military commander of Outworld. It does not make sense to me. He doesn't have the fury in him to defeat the military commander of Outworld. He doesn't have it.
It's like the in Man of Steel when General Zod's like, "Where did you learn to fight? On a farm?" And it's like, Raiden did, and he's the top dog in the entire universe somehow.
Exactly. Are you telling us that the boy on the farm, he's mastered above everybody, the whole world? Sorry, I'm saying that in a wrong way. His martial arts dominate everybody else's martial arts in the whole world. Like a UFC fighter, for example, who's been probably training since teenager. Raiden can beat him.
And then the stupidest thing is, when he wins the right to fight in Mortal Kombat, Liu Kang's like, "Oh, here, take this amulet that's going to give you a bunch of electrical powers you've never used before and never trained with. Go use these to win this tournament." What?
Exactly. Exactly. It's so ridiculous, man. It's so dumb.
Plot armor, you know.
Like, it's so weird. It just, like you said, it doesn't make stakes for that. And then I just want to point out, they still have the Mortal Kombat tournament, and so we have a game where they have a Mortal Kombat tournament where no one is expected to die.
Yes. And why is it called Mortal Kombat in the first place when mortality is not even a stake in this tournament? What the hell?
This is a stupid fan fiction at this point.
Yeah, it's like a exhibition sparring between realms.
Exhibition sparring, exactly. It's like when, you know, in real life where you have those taekwondo tournaments or something, and then there's an audience watching, and two people are fighting with a referee in the middle, and then they're trying to score points. It's exactly like that.
We're one step away from them having like the big bulky helmets with the pads on their hands and feet.
That would be so funny if there's like a floor mat and then Shao Kahn shows up in his headgear.
My dad says I have to wear this.
And I never understand the point of the tournament. Like, Shao Kahn, what does he want? Why he wants to fight the tournament?
The whole tournament is very unclear why it even exists in the story. It's like, oh, this makes friendship between the realms. How? It just seems like it makes you guys like really unhappy with each other. And when Raiden wins, Sindel is pissed for no reason. It's very confusing.
And Shao Kahn is more pissed as well. He's like, what the hell? I just lost to this guy. What fight does the military commander of Outworld even win? Is there a single fight where he wins? He loses to Reptile. What the hell?
Yeah, and Yellow Sub-Zero.
If he loses to Reptile in his own realm, that means this commoner Reptile, he's above the military commander of Outworld. They picked the wrong guy to be the military commander. I can't compute it. It's just, my brain is gonna explode. It's popping like popcorn.
Mine is too. It's so stupid.
See, this is a problem. This is why MK1 is a flop. I'm not talking about gameplay. I'm talking about the story. This is why MK1 is a flop. And I can't understand the people who like the story. There are people out there who actually like the story.
It's the NRS fanboys that grew up in the NRS era, mostly.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of understand it. Some people, I think, just will like the story, like, almost no matter what. Like, as long as stuff kind of happens. But even them, by the time we got through Chaos Reigns, most people were done with that, too. So, like, you know it got bad.
Yeah. I wonder who didn't buy it. Like, who looked at Chaos Reigns and thought, I'm not buying this. Chaos Reigns is the first Mortal Kombat purchase in my whole lifetime of Mortal Kombat. It's the very first one I did not buy.
Me neither.
It It's funny you mentioned that because I didn't buy it, and I was going to mention that.
Yeah.
You know, I have a lot of casual friends that are Mortal Kombat fans, but they're not like big fighting game people like me, and they're not like super fans like like you are, Napper. They like it. They like Mortal Kombat. It's something they grew up with, and they get the games. There's probably about like 8 or 9 of them. None of them got Chaos Reigns. All of them got the Mortal Kombat 11 DLC. But none of them liked Mortal Kombat 1 enough to get the expansion. And that's when I knew this game is done. Because like, these are casual players that have no interest in this game. It's over.
And NRS needs to look at their failure right there and really honestly take a look and see, we failed for this reason. I would love to sit in the room and tell them why they failed, but that's never gonna happen. How can they sit and reflect and see what went wrong?
They chase trends.
Yep.
I don't think it's ever gonna happen because it doesn't seem like they're gonna learn. What do you think?
I think it depends on how much stuff costs. It's easy to make mistakes and do stupid stuff when you're doing well, but when Daddy WB comes knocking and wants explanations for why you didn't make enough money and why you spent money on the expansion and it didn't get a return, and then you're looking for your budget for your next game, Daddy WB is going to be asking some hard questions that they better have answers for. And you got to produce. Like, that's just the way it is now. You're owned by a bigger company, and Warner Brothers needs that money. They are in trouble, so they can't accept oh, we'll do better next time. That's not going to fly. You need to prove it.
Something I want to understand is, I'm guessing as a business they tried to appeal to the masses so that they could get money from the masses, right? And they failed to do that. So me, for example, I just want Mortal Kombat like Mortal Kombat, and if they make Mortal Kombat like Mortal Kombat, I will surrender whatever I have in my wallet to them. I really actually will. But to normal general people, like the vast majority of people, if they didn't like Chaos Reigns, what can they do? What can they make that the vast majority of people will like, and I will like too? If they made something which I will like, will the vast majority of people not like that? I don't think that it will work like that. Did that make sense?
Yeah, if they cater to a hardcore fan like you, will that get the casuals?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
I understand the business side of things, like they can't cater to me 100%, right? And that's fine. They should be catering to as many as possible and getting the money. That's how they're going to continue and develop. But for example, if I wrote a Mortal Kombat story, or any fan wrote a Mortal Kombat story, and they went with that, and they made it kind of like Tekken, where all the guys are muscly and strong and proud, and all the women are just like, they're petite but they're kicking major ass. I don't see how that can fail.
I mean, look at Marvel Rivals. That's like what you're asking for, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Something done well.
Yeah. I'm a big Marvel guy. I'm a big comic book fan, and Marvel Rivals hits on all cylinders. Like, the characters are the characters. They look like them. They act like them. They have great interactions and dialogue, and the game is a good game. It's the perfect combination. It's like the Arkham series. Arkham did the same thing.
That's a perfect example, because now I can, with what you said, I can reinforce what I said now. If they just made Mortal Kombat like Mortal Kombat, which Mortal Kombat was successful on its own before, right? If they just made it Mortal Kombat, then there's no reason why they can't get money off people like me and casual people too. There's no reason. Where they fail is when they try to do their own stupid ideas and the leaders are not leading. This is where I think the failure is.
They get people that think they know better.
Like,
And they only want to appeal to the modern audience.
you have people in the combat cast showing up, they don't know what they're talking about. All they do is they have the old Mortal Kombat dolls scattered around at the back to pretend as if they're Mortal Kombat fans. You have that guy wearing the 30-year anniversary Mortal Kombat shirt every time he shows up, as if he's trying to show, yeah, I've been a long-time fan of MK ever since the very first MK. But to me, it just looks like you're just pretending.
Yeah, it's like people that wear shirts for bands they've never listened to and can't name a single album from.
Yeah, you're just pretending to be what a real fan is. You're just bandwagoning.
Yeah, and sometimes you also have some of these people where they have a very narrow fandom, and I don't want to like, overly criticize that. You do have some people that are like, I'm sure involved with the game that were part of the community, but were just like, oh, they were just really into the competitive scene. And some people really like that stuff, but don't really care about like the story and stuff, which is fine. But you shouldn't be involved with decisions about the story then.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just logical. It just makes logical sense. To me, Chaos Reigns and Mortal Kombat 1 is a product of not doing logical decisions. Of not making logical decisions, of not having a structure. Because how did it come out as a flop where people are complaining that it's not ready to be released, and then right up to the end still people are calling it a flop? Well, I am.
My big takeaway from the, like, I think some people need to realize and just swallow the pill that, like, Mortal Kombat going back to day one, you've been with Mortal Kombat since day one, right, Napper?
I have.
You're an old school fan.
I have.
Same here, man. And
good to meet you, brother.
We can be honest with ourselves. The gameplay for Mortal Kombat was never very good. It was okay.
Yeah, I can't
and then
really.
You got to 3D.
I can't comment on that because, for me, I never started really learning fighting games until now. So before, I would just choose my favorite character, do their special moves, and just try to get the win. That's how I'd play.
And it was fun.
And it was
fun enough. And like the characters were really cool. You had the endings that told you about them. You had all the tie-ins, the movies, the comics that tell you even more about the characters. A Saturday morning cartoon for anyone that watched it.
Yeah.
And Mortal Kombat traded on that though. They built a huge casual audience of people that just wanted to jump in, play a cool looking character, rip someone's head off, and we don't care if this has the same depth as Super Turbo. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And
they gave that to us with new games. Like the 3D games have so much stuff to do that made casuals happy. And then we get to Mortal Kombat 1, and the number one thing I heard from those 8 or 9 people I know was, there's nothing to do in this game.
And there's people out there asking for things like conquest mode. Oh, we want conquest mode, we want chess mode, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think, if the root of the problem is not fixed, the conquest mode is not going to be any good.
Yeah.
It's just going to be regurgitated garbage. So, the garbage that it is before, if you add conquest mode to it, it's just an expansion on garbage.
Yeah, even if it was the best conquest mode, like, I don't know, you haven't played Street Fighter, right, Napper?
No, I'm not a
6?
Street Fighter person. I played a long time ago with the ones like Street Fighter 2, probably. Very long time ago.
If you get a chance, you should at least check out like maybe like a video or something of Street Fighter 6's story mode. It's amazing. It's the best story mode I've ever seen in a fighting game.
Okay.
It's kind of like conquest mode.
Interesting.
And like, to be able to get that in a Street Fighter game, because Street Fighter has been a long time been known for like non-existent story in games. Like you get endings and that's really it.
Yeah.
And Mortal Kombat was always big on story stuff and a focus on characters.
Yeah.
And now, in our current generation, we've got a Street Fighter 6 with this amazing conquest-style story mode, and you've got Mortal Kombat that's giving us this cinematic thing that's like, that came out with Mortal Kombat versus DC. That's like 20 years old, man. You used to innovate Mortal Kombat. Where's your sense of innovation? Where's your sense of new stuff? It's all gimmicks.
Exactly.
The cameos are fine, but they're a gimmick.
They're a gimmick, and this also goes into that thing with the fatalities as well. They're trying really hard to stand out with fatalities, but I don't think in the modern day and age fatalities stand out anymore. It's just
I think they're terrible.
Yeah. It's just a gory scene where you can get gory scene in any game you can play these days. It's just Mortal Kombat's trying too hard with the fatalities. The fatalities are better.
Yeah, brutalities are way better in the games than the fatalities.
Oh, yeah.
Fatalities take forever.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the brutalities are the right direction. I think that's what a fatality should be. A brutality.
Yep. Nice and quick, snappy, just murder the person and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, not this year and a half of just...
Yeah, great contribution, Kortez. Really appreciate your presence here. Good job.
Like, I know, like, when I'm playing, like, a Mortal Kombat game, I'm never using fatalities, but when I've got the computer on, like, its last leg, I'm jockeying and positioning to try to get the coolest brutality I can get that I want to try to get it to do.
Yeah, it's fun to try to set them up and actually land it. It feels like an achievement. The fatalities just feel over convoluted. When you half the time you don't even want to perform them because you have to watch the long animation.
It takes forever.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we can move on to online stuff, like online. So in the older games, apparently, I don't really have much experience with it myself, but I heard other people complain about it, where you have rooms where you can easily set up lobbies or whatever, and in this game, you're just waiting for somebody to join your game.
It's ridiculous. It's the same thing as the story mode, or like, this is like decades, or at least a decade behind what is considered acceptable. You don't have rooms? What is this, like 2009? What are we doing, guys?
It's shocking as well, because you have rooms in MK Deception, the very first online Mortal Kombat game.
It's crazy.
Absolutely.
And that's where I need to wonder, is this a lack of time at the developer, or is this a lack of talent and capability at the developer? I don't know. I assume they have really talented people there, because a lot of the stuff the game can do is impressive. But how do you not have rooms? This should be like launch stuff.
I believe they're talented people as well. I believe they are people who have skilled. But my own personal problem is they're not Mortal Kombat people. That's where the root cause of the problem is for me. But then again, they could have made something that was a good product and not be Mortal Kombat. I could have been angry at the story part and maybe leave the rest of it, but I don't know.
Yeah, if this was the world's shittiest Killer Instinct, I mean, not having rooms would still be terrible. Like you said, it wouldn't matter if it was Mortal Kombat or not. This would still be bad from a product standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Right. I don't know if there's anything else to comment on. I don't see any point in buying a definitive edition. What's the point? You're just buying Mortal Kombat and Chaos Reigns. I don't see the point of buying it.
There's no point in buying this.
For me, it'll just be like if I buy Chaos Reigns. I'm not submitting my money to buy this garbage. And I'm glad it's over. I'm glad that it's only lasted as long as it has. The fact that it's lasted 1 year and 8 months is proof that it's a flop. It's a flop of a game. Again, I'm not talking about gameplay. There's lots of people who've sunk thousands of hours into gameplay and had fun with it. Fine. The rest of it is a flop. And that weighed down on Mortal Kombat 1.
I gotta ask Napper, because I know how I feel, but I gotta ask, is there a part of you that's like pumping your fist at like, yeah, this failed and I knew it would because it was bad and it deserved to fail?
Yeah.
Like, as an old school Mortal Kombat fan.
I'm glad it's failed because it's garbage. I don't want garbage like this to be accepted. Well, you know when Ed Boon said, we're gonna support this for years to come? That statement actually upset me because I'm thinking, oh man, we're gonna have to sit through this crap for years and years and years, and I'm gonna turn too old to be playing video games. My kids are gonna look at me thinking, what is this old man getting excited about video games for?
It's like when
fail too.
yeah, it's like when the new Star Wars things get like canceled because like no one's watching them. Like, yeah, good, it's garbage. Now I know I'm not crazy. Same thing with Mortal Kombat 1. It's like, yeah, all right, it's not just me. Like, this did badly because it is bad. I'm right. I'm glad.
Yes, it is actual garbage. That's why it failed. Like, I can see, I don't like Mortal Kombat X and 11, but I can see, from a non-Mortal Kombat fan point of view, I can see how it's fun. I can see how it's good. Kind of, sort of, actually. I don't know. But Mortal Kombat 1...
they're better products. MKX and MK11 are better products than MK1.
Yeah, when you go back to MK11, you feel like you're playing a complete full game. You know? It feels more full and rich when you're playing it.
Like, one thing I'll say is, you know, to speak to casuals and content, my wife is a very big fighting game fan. Very big fan. She loves King of Fighters. She loves Street Fighter. She loves Mortal Kombat. She gets stuff for all 3 series, but she doesn't play them. She's not, you know, she'll play like Hogwarts and she'll play like games like that, but like reflex wise, a fighting game's kind of overwhelming for her. But in Mortal Kombat 11, do you remember they had the AI training that you could do?
I don't remember. I don't have much experience with MK11. I've got 40 hours on it.
Okay, well, they had an AI mode where you could set up an AI character, and you could put in how they would play, and you could take them into fights in any mode in the game, other than like online versus, obviously.
Okay.
And
interesting.
She put 1,000 hours into the game herself. Just using AI to collect the outfits for the character she wanted to dress up the character she likes the way she wanted. As soon as Mortal Kombat 1 came out, she asked if she could do the same thing. We looked through the whole game, and then I realized there's no AI mode in this game.
Amazing.
Boom. She has never touched the game, and she put 1,000 hours into the previous game and asked for the expansion when it came out so she could get the new stuff.
There's a perfect example.
They lost her.
There you go. They've lost a fan. They've lost a fan who was willing to put 1,000 hours into a game.
Yep.
Terrible.
I went back
and over something they should just be able to drop into the game. Like, why is this not in the game? You should just be able to pull it from Mortal Kombat 11. I don't get it.
I don't get it too. I don't understand. It sounds like a simple thing to do where you just sit in a boardroom meeting, discuss ideas and say, this is what we want. This is our vision. Let's make it happen. And it's a flop. I don't understand. How are the things running in the company? I don't get it. Are people just doing whatever they want?
I think we're seeing a lot of this across Western game devs in general. We're seeing like Warner Brothers games in particular seem to really badly run with people that don't know what they're doing. You know,
Yeah.
we had the Suicide Squad situation, you know, earlier in the year, and that was a
This game
disaster.
flopped. It flopped the game Suicide Squad. Yeah, nobody played this game when it came out.
Yeah, no one.
No one knew.
This is definitely the rampant issue.
What do you think the future holds then?
They got to get their ducks in a row.
Yeah,
They
like
gotta.
you said, they gotta get their ducks in a row, or stuff's just forever gonna suck.
I like how you start a sentence, Kortez, and you don't even finish a sentence. It's funny.
This might sound weird, but I almost feel like a smaller budget might force them to make a better game.
No, I
know
think
that
you're
probably
right.
sounds weird.
You're right. You're 100% right. I think they have too much money and they're just splashing it on things which are just useless. 100%.
Yeah.
There's too many
Yeah.
cinematics. The story mode is over the top when it doesn't need to be. 100% you're right. The fatalities, there's too much animation in them. Even when you go into the character select screen, you have the characters walking from the sides, walking in, wasting time, and you change your character to the next character. You have to wait for the next character to load on the screen. It's so annoying.
And the Invasion is so trash that I only played like 2 minutes.
We didn't even mention Invasions. It's that bad.
Yeah.
We didn't even mention it.
Bad.
Wow.
We need to cut down the money.
It's one of those things where, and I think you see it in the industry a lot with video games, is with these big games, they don't respect a focus for the game, because it's like, well, we have all this money and we have so much talent that we can pull it all together, so we can do everything and anything we think of. But that's not the reality of making games. You know, deadlines come due, things catch people by surprise and become problems, and they lose focus on really making the game be the game. And like you said, you get all these side focuses, like all these cutscenes and cinematics, and we can do all this extra stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, but can we focus on making the game really good to begin with and make it like it should be?
Exactly. I could forgive all this extra stuff if just Mortal Kombat was Mortal Kombat.
Now that I think about it, Mortal Kombat 1 is or should I say Mortal Kombat 12 is a mess of a project with too much resources they just did away with.
I've already said this, but just imagine a modern day Scorpion with you know what? Scorpion from MK11 when he's dressed up as a Hell Spectre. That looks badass. He looks amazing. Yeah. That's Scorpion. I don't like the one where he takes his mask off and his hands are actually that one. He looks stupid.
No.
But the Scorpion who's actually the Ninja Spectre in MK11 in his intros, he's sick. How did we go from him to this guy, Kuai Liang, being Scorpion?
That still boggles my mind. Why?
I don't know. I don't know really what else to say anymore. I think I got
What would you like to see next, Napper? Like from NRS, like would you want another Injustice to give Mortal Kombat some time, or do you want them to jump right back into Mortal Kombat?
No, I do not want Injustice. I don't care about Injustice. For me, when the first Injustice game came out, I thought, man, we gotta wait all this time for Mortal Kombat now. Just no Injustice, nothing. I just want Mortal Kombat, but I want it done right. I'm hoping...
Same here, I don't like Injustice.
I'm hoping with all the failures that WB has had last year, maybe this year, that they finally realize and decide, you know what, we need to do something different. And maybe they can direct NRS a bit better. Maybe NRS can look and think, we need to do something a little bit different.
what about a Mortal Kombat game that is not a traditional Mortal Kombat game?
So I was thinking this morning when I was driving, what if they made a fully fledged motor kart combat game? You know, motor kart, like Mario Kart, but it's Mortal Kombat and it's full and complete. And then somewhere hidden in the menus, you can access older games like Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, or whatever. I think that would be a cool idea.
Would you be interested in, like, because they've talked before as developers, as a company, like NRS, like, oh, we'd really like to do like maybe like an adventure game or something, or an action game. Like, what if they did like another like Shaolin Monk style game? Like, obviously Midway didn't do that internally. Midway actually, like, another company made that for Midway.
Really?
But like, if NRS did something like that with the Mortal Kombat name.
Okay, so me and Cryptic talked about this, and we was thinking if NRS got to do that, it's not gonna be good, because they're probably gonna make something like Linkway Adventures and have Sector and Cyrax running around as females or something. Well, that's probably flopped now, and they're probably not gonna do that again. But I don't trust NRS to make that. If they outsource it to someone else, that's an idea. I can probably get behind that. Like,
yeah, it's they're in a weird spot. They're in a weird spot for sure.
the root causes at NRS need to be fixed first. Then I can put any hope into any future game. I want to be hopeful for Mortal Kombat 13. I want to be hopeful for it. I am looking forward to it. I want to see trailers. I want to see what's the next thing. But there's always that in the back of my mind that the root problem is in NRS. And this root problem is producing shit.
Yeah. All right. Do you know what I think their safest bet might be to get something out with the Mortal Kombat title on it? And I think you might agree with this.
Okay.
Give us re-releases of classic MK games and a remaster of MK9.
100%. Yeah, exactly. We want a collection of the old games remastered. That's money. That's money.
3D era games.
I've got every single Mortal Kombat game already. I am happy to spend more money to get them all over again. I'm happy with that. I'll do it. But
All the Mortal Kombat extensions awesome.
Capcom's been killing it with their collections, and we've got nothing for Mortal Kombat.
If Capcom's killing it with collections, why isn't NRS looking at them and saying we should do the same thing?
That's the ultimate Riddler trophy no one can collect because no one knows.
They don't care.
I guess they don't like money. They want to siphon money out of your bank account with their shitty little microtransactions, but they don't want to make real money, big boy money.
I don't understand it.
Why can't someone from NRS, Ed Boon, just go up to WB and say, here's a proposal, let's do this. I bet you it's gonna make money. This is how much money it's projected to make. What do you say? A WB will look at them and think, well, you know what, you seem pretty confident. I think that sounds good.
And you can sell it on the fact that it's less overhead. You have to do way less work. The games they exist. They're done.
Yeah, exactly. All you have to do is make them look a bit better.
Don't fix nothing that ain't broken.
Yeah. Like, the fact that we haven't got those makes, like, you know, it's 2025 and they just released a collection that includes Power Stone 2, and both Capcom versus SNK games. But we don't have a way really to play Mortal Kombat 9 nowadays. Like, that's
Do you know
crazy.
how much I struggled to play the very first Mortal Kombat game on stream? My first 2 or 3 streams on that first Mortal Kombat game, it's just me flopping around trying to find out, oh, what have I done wrong? It's not streaming properly. I was fixing the stream in the stream because that game wouldn't stream properly. If they just released it properly, I could play it on stream comfortably. They are gonna get marketing out of that from, alright, I'm nobody, but somebody big's gonna play it on stream.
it's wild that we don't have access to these games. And like you said, you're playing like you're going through all these hoops to get a version of the game to even play, and it's like, how does this make sense to anyone? How does this make dollars and cents to anyone? This should just be money. This is free money. It's free real
Easy.
estate. Take it.
Easy money. Easy money. I don't know, man. I don't know what kind of minds are in NRS that are just making shit decisions.
They're just
Like-
they're literally incompetent morons at this point.
I feel like I could just walk into NRS and just be like, alright everybody, this is what we're doing. This is gonna succeed. And I feel confident that it will succeed. I don't have anything to back that up by, but I'm guessing if we made a proper Mortal Kombat game, millions of people would look at it and think, whoa, this is sick. This is Mortal Kombat. This is the Mortal Kombat we've been wanting. I don't see how that would fail. I don't see it.
I mean, yeah, if I had, authority to go into NRS and like, oh, do whatever you want, day one, I'm going to WB and saying like, oh, we're going to do a re-release of these classic games.
Yeah.
And I would point to the success of other stuff in the market and the demand for these games and how well they did before.
Maybe it's a good time to do that now with the flop of MK1. If they want a break from MK, this is what they should do. Just do
100%.
re-releases of the old games.
You're not going to make anyone
I want
angry.
Devil Alliance back. I want Deception back. Shadow and Monks back.
And it won't make people feel like they're losing out on something different to get this game. You know what I mean? Because like if we get an announcement for a new Mortal Kombat, whenever, 6 months from now or whatever, like, oh, this is our next game, people are going to be like, they're going to call bullshit on it because some of them just spent $110 on the quote-unquote longest supported Mortal Kombat game, and now that's dead and they're already announcing a new one. And then there's going to be people where, if you announce an Injustice, they're going to be like, oh, great, now it's like 4 or 5 years until another Mortal Kombat, and I'm stuck with Mortal Kombat 1 or nothing.
My only hope at the moment is if they did announce a new Mortal Kombat game, they would... I'm hoping that they really took a deep dive into MK1 and thought, this was crap. Let's just tell the truth. This is crap. Let's make a proper Mortal Kombat game. And I want Ed Boon to come out and be like, yeah, let's go back to the roots. How we used to be.
Would you accept another reboot?
I think they should.
That's a tricky question because it's clear that reboots are not fixing anything. But I guess reboot is the way because I don't want this MK1 garbage to continue. I don't think most
the multiverse crap needs to go.
I don't want a second version of Liu Kang's timeline.
Or maybe another version of Shao Kahn.
We need some manhood. We need some manhood in the game.
Yeah, I think that's the proof of how bad their position is right now. They did another reboot and it is their worst game. And so now it's like, well, do you double down on the game in the universe that did bad, or do you do another reboot and then make people roll their eyes at a third reboot? It's like you're in a bad spot. There's no good answer.
It's such a shame as well because the gameplay is not bad. It's fun. People are finding it fun. I found it fun. If all this other stuff was just taken care of, I could have looked at Mortal Kombat 1 and thought, this is the best Mortal Kombat game ever. If they just did everything else right. If a leader just took control and said, this is how we want Mortal Kombat to look. But they didn't do that. People just do whatever they want. They made a nice game with nice gameplay and they put all this shit all around it. It's like if you take a nice gift and you take a pile of shit and you form that pile of shit into a gift box and you put the nice object inside that pile of shit gift box and then give that to somebody. Do you
Well, I
think...
get to the gift, but I'm all shitty now.
Yeah, my hands are covered in shit. This gift is covered in shit too. I don't really want to touch this stinky gift.
Yeah, the smell is never coming off of this gift.
Yeah. What a shame. I'm actually happy with the gameplay side of stuff. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I would be okay with it. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the cameo system. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But I recognize that it's pretty well done. The game plays well. I have no, and I think it has my favorite character of the NRS era. I really like Reiko. He's very fun to me. He's what I like in a character.
Okay.
I would
like
be
the
okay with a lot, if not for, like you said, all the stuff surrounding it is just so bad.
Maybe we can now, if anyone still has time, we can talk about the good of the gameplay, and then we can end it with a positive note. So,
The roster is good.
what I like about the gameplay is the animations. I thought the animations of the characters are really good. Like Ermac, for example, he has definitely improved. The way he does the green magic energy, I thought Ermac is cool. He looks good. I like the way Sub-Zero freezes things. I like, there's another one as well, what's it? Liu Kang. I'm not necessarily interested in his blue and red fireballs, but I like the things he does where when he jumps in the air and he throws multiple fireballs. I think that's cool. Things like this. The gameplay animation inside the actual gameplay, not the cinematics, the actual gameplay. It's good. The animation in there is good. How's Sindel?
I will be the
Sorry.
I will be the animation snob because, you know, I really love the animation in games like Street Fighter and
Okay.
King of Fighters. I will give credit to Mortal Kombat 1. It is the best animated Mortal Kombat. It's the best animated NRS game.
Mhm.
It's still not to the standards of other fighting games that are their competitors, but they are improving. I'll give them credit for that. You are, like, a lot of stuff, like you said, Ermac does looks very cool. They did a good job with them. A lot of the DLC characters look better, I would say, than the core roster, quite a bit.
Yeah. You have Sindel as well. She's using her hair. I think the last time she used her hair properly was in MK3. Where when she grabs you and then she uses her hair to throw you on the other side. I don't remember another game where she uses her hair like that. But in MK1 she's using her hair in all kinds of things. It's good.
Astra's effects are pretty nice.
Yeah, her sword, the way she fights.
See, I like it's the little stuff that I really like with, like, Reiko. I think Reiko has a lot of, like, little things in his animations, like the fact that his backwards walk animation is a shuffle step. I really like that. It's minor, but it gives the character personality.
Yeah.
That stuff is cool.
So how did they pay attention to little things like this, but flopped so freaking hard on the story? It's just mind-boggling. Clearly, there's two separate teams which are kept in two separate buildings.
I mean, when you have, because obviously we know from Blood Count, different people work on different stuff for the characters and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think you have more opportunity there for people that are really passionate about their work, what they're working on, and I guess Dominic is probably passionate about the story. Maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he is. It's just like he's just not good, and like I know it's maybe mean spirited to say like, oh, like his writing's bad. Like, sorry, dude, your writing's just bad.
Yeah,
It's getting worse.
I hate Dominic's work, right? But I don't want to be mean to the guy. But he's not the guy. He's not the guy. He shouldn't be making a Mortal Kombat story.
And he's a lawyer too.
What?
He's a lawyer.
Oh, what's he doing in Mortal Kombat? Making a Mortal Kombat game?
I don't know. It's crazy.
Interesting. If he's a lawyer and he can go into a Mortal Kombat game, I am a professional like that too, so maybe I can slip in somehow. I need to start learning game design and game animations. Where can we begin?
We should need another writer because the MK story is getting worse. Like MK1 is worse than MK11.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting worse.
The problem is too, like it gets worse because they could have built a new foundation and gone from there, but instead halfway through they go back to the stuff that was bad in MK11. Like, guys, what are you doing? You could have gone off in your own direction and done your own thing, and right, wrong, or indifferent, it would be new. But instead, we just go back to this timeline stuff. We were supposed to be done with that.
Yeah, they tricked us. It's supposed to be the new era, a new start.
With
and
Collab
here we
or
are
the-
mixed up again.
Well, right at the beginning in the story, Liu Kang said, I am not like... what did he say exactly? I'm not bound by the past events. I'm not influenced by the past events. Something like this. That's what he says in the intro. And then he goes
And then
ahead.
He totally is.
Yeah, he totally is.
The other weird thing with the story is the stuff I like. It keeps coming up in big productions and stuff where they do stuff where they don't realize they're writing people that are really bad people, and it's really weird. Like, they think it's okay in the story that, oh, Liu Kang, when he was in control of all time, made it Shang Tsung's destiny to be a destitute, worthless fraud, and for Quan Chi to be a slave in mines. Like, dude, these are new people in a new timeline. That's really evil to do to them.
Yeah, it is 100%. And he looked at Raiden and thought, like, he's not bound by past events, like he said, right? So why did he go and take Raiden's anger away? Why did he chop his balls off?
Yeah, he turned him into
Yeah.
a human.
Yeah, it's really creepy, right? It's like really weird to do something like that.
He's taking Raiden, and he's fearing that Raiden is gonna become Dark Raiden again. So he goes and chops his balls off.
Like, that's some creepy stuff to do when you're all powerful. Like, maybe don't do that, Liu Kang, because now Raiden has legitimate beef. You messed with his soul.
Yeah, you know about Raiden's ending, right?
Yep.
He did the service.
In Raiden's ending, he says, I feel like I've been done a disservice. You know, when I heard that ending, I was so amazed. Like, whoa, this guy is aware of what's wrong. I started to like Raiden at that point.
Oh no, the characters are becoming self-aware that the writer is screwing them over.
Yeah. What I think is that somebody effed up the story, probably Dominic, and the people that wrote the endings, they probably didn't like Dominic's work, so they attempted to fix it. I can see that if I can see that. It hasn't gone unnoticed.
To see friction like that, yeah. Like, you see, like, people like, it's like in Rise of Skywalker. There's a bunch of like remarks in the movie that clearly are dunking on The Last Jedi.
Really?
Where like the two writers are like fighting back and forth. So it wouldn't surprise me to see something like that between like the story mode and then the endings that are probably, like you said, done by someone else for some of the characters.
I'm hoping those guys, they've made this little effort. I'm hoping those guys have enough courage to stand up in the boardroom meetings and just say, Mortal Kombat 1 is shit, and this is why it's shit, and we're gonna do this now. Look, this is our proposal. Let's just do this.
Yeah.
I'm leaving it in their hands. Like, I have no power here. All I can do is just hope.
You were mentioning stuff we like. I will go on a limb with something I like you said, to be positive.
Yeah.
Divorced from the designs and the story, like if we just ignore those elements, this has my favorite cast of an NRS game, other than MK9, and that's not fair. That's just everyone. But like between MKX, MK11, and MK1. This has my favorite cast, and yes, I'm biased towards having Smoke and Reiko and Rain because they're like my favorites. But I mean, the cast is really good.
Yeah, I won't argue against that. I think Sonya should have been in there since she was in the first Mortal Kombat game.
Agreed.
But yeah,
And Kano?
I guess I can agree. And Kano, yeah, Kano too.
Yeah, no Sonya, no Kano is bullshit. But
Because you've called it
Oh,
Mortal
actually-
Kombat 1. Mortal Kombat 1 had Kano and Sonya and Sub-Zero and Scorpion and Liu Kang and Raiden. Like, these ones should be the staple in the new reboot of Mortal Kombat 1.
Speaking of characters not in it for the cast, can we do a little tangent about what is NRS's problem with my boy Jax?
Okay, yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Why is Jax always getting screwed in NRS games?
And that too, in MK11 they turned him into a Black Lives
Panther.
Matter activist.
Yeah, in MK9, he gets his arms blown off and does nothing in the story. He doesn't get a chapter. He doesn't get a
Bastille
like a
kills
big
him.
role. He just
Mhm,
disappears basically.
mhm.
In MK10, he's either a revenant or sad.
Uh-huh.
And then in MK11, he's even more sad, and then he betrays Earthrealm. And then in MK1, yeah, we're not even having him playable.
You know what?
Really?
There's a thing in NRS where it feels like they do one thing in one game and they try to turn it into a running joke. So, for example, with Kung Lao, he had
Yeah.
his neck snapped once, right? Now it's kind of like a running joke throughout the games, which they manufactured the running joke. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, they
Yes.
keep going back to that well, like, oh, it's like repeating. It's like, yeah, we get it.
Yeah, exactly like that.
They always kill off Collab many times. I mean, even the movies.
Yeah, they're always doing that to Kung Lao. With Jax, it's just like Jax is one of the coolest characters, and
Yeah.
I don't get why we're doing this to him. I don't get how you have him not playable in MK1.
Yeah.
How are we gonna leave out Jax?
How have
He's
we not
popular
got a
again.
tag team between Jax and Sonya? That is just perfect. We need a tag team between Jax and Sonya.
Yeah.
It's they take the wrong lessons from stuff like every time. Like, oh, there's too much special forces stuff in MK11 where it's just like all about Johnny and Sonya and the combat kids. So in the next game, they're like, okay, none of that. It's all of them are gone. Like, guys, that's like, please stop going from 100 to 0 and from 0 to 100. There's happy mediums.
They are definitely immature people in the team because I did point out that one time, you know that guy Perfect Legend? So
Yes.
there's a 13-0 joke about him and they actually mentioned that in a combat cast. And I think, which game was it? Was it MK11? Where Kung Lao grabs you and he does that
Yes.
punch where he punches 13 times. It's
Yep.
as a stab in the back to him, the Perfect Legend guy. So
That to me is like, that borders on mean-spirited.
mean-spirited and it's really immature. Like,
Yeah.
how can a company take a dig at an ordinary person unless you're a
And,
bunch of immature people?
Yeah, and like I get it. Like I know there's criticisms we leveled against Perfect Legend, and like, but like you said, this is a $1 billion company, and some random. Well, I won't call him random, but Perfect Legend's one of the best of all time.
Mhm.
But he's just a customer that happens to be a tournament player, and you're a $1 billion company. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah. If anything, they should be kind of praising people, you know? I don't know if this is a coincidence or anything. You know the Sikander, Sikander, right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
in MK1 story, Reptile mentioned something called Sikander province. Is that because of Sikander?
Maybe.
Probably.
It's possible. It's not impossible.
It's a bit too much of a coincidence, isn't it? Sikander province. That's
Yeah.
It's an unusual
I-
name.
Yeah, it might be a coincidence. Like there might be some other word they're like playing on there. Like I couldn't think of what it is, but it's always possible. But it is also possibly a reference. You know, like Star Wars has done stuff like that. They've referenced like people to name stuff
They must
and
have
whatnot.
they must have referenced Sonic Fox in there too somewhere. If they're going to do Sikander, a YouTuber guy.
Sonic Fox was referenced in a trophy before, in an achievement.
Is he? Okay.
I think in MK11.
Okay,
I think so.
I missed that one. I don't know any other MK pro players. Foxy Grandpa, has he been mentioned anywhere?
No. My boy Rewind hasn't been named. Rewind's awesome. Rewind is great.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Let's
then.
see. Let me see if I can remember what this was. I swear there's a Sonic Fox reference in a trophy before. I'd have to look it up.
Well,
I'm pretty sure it existed.
well, the main point is that I don't like when real life people are inserted into games like that, but it's actually a good thing to do, an appreciative thing to do. But taking a dig at somebody in the same way, 13-0, that's really bad, that is.
Yeah, like people like to talk about like, you know, quote unquote punching down, and like that gets thrown around way too much of like, you know, like commentators or something, or just randoms on Twitter or whatever. But like when you are a billion-dollar company and you're doing something to like look like you're making fun of just a guy, that is the definition of punching down. Like, come on. There's no need for that.
100%. Imagine if you're the guy, they punched down, how would you feel? Imagine if they looked at me.
Yeah,
I'm a nobody.
not cool.
I'm a nobody. Imagine if somebody in Mortal Kombat, like Johnny Cage sitting on his expensive toilet, and he gets a toilet paper and it says Napper, and he's wiping his ass with it. Or something.
Hey, you know what? I guess what Perfect Legend can say now is like he's still got his championships, and he's not one of the people that worked on the game that sunk Mortal Kombat. So I guess he could do that. He could play that Uno reverse on them, considering you know that the game's already dead.
Yeah.
In record time.
Yeah, he could.
But yeah, I definitely agree that is not cool.
I tried to be positive there. I tried being positive, but I think I just went off in a bit of a negative direction there. What else is good? It's fun to play Mortal Kombat with a friend. MK1.
Yeah, the game plays well. I have never taken that away from the game. Like, even if it's not my cup of tea, the game plays well. It's relatively well balanced.
The art of the stages is beautiful as well. Even if they're not interactive, where you can do death traps and things like that, like what is Mortal Kombat.
I will say, I agree. I agree they're very nice looking stages. I personally don't really like the aesthetic of them. It doesn't feel like Mortal Kombat to me.
That's it, exactly. It doesn't feel like Mortal Kombat. I can give that a pass because it's supposed to be a new era. So, for example, the Living Forest. It does sting me that it's not the Living Forest that we know and love. But because it's a new era, okay, fine. It's a different Living Forest. But you know what? I picked a bad example there because the Living Forest stage looks shit.
You know what would have been cool if they had to do it like that? If we could have got, like, you get all of the levels in the game like they are now.
Yeah.
You know, so you have, like, Outworld, like, the throne room and everything's very nice looking. You have the really nice gardens.
Yeah.
And then once you beat the game, we see all of the versions of those in Shang Tsung's timeline, and they'd be all dark versions of them like a Mortal Kombat game.
Ah, that's such a missed opportunity, man. Ah, that's so good. Why can't they come up with ideas like this? Why is no one...
missed opportunity indeed.
Why is nobody sitting there coming up with ideas like this? We Mortal Kombat fans who have no effect on the game at all, we're sitting here crying out into the void our ideas.
Like, to me, that would be so cool.
Very cool. That is such a good idea.
Yeah, if I was in charge of something like that, I would have the two different timelines like that, and I would even have the remixed music, like there'd be two different tracks for the levels. It'd be the same song,
Yeah.
but you'd have like Liu Kang's timeline mix and then Shang Tsung's remix.
What a great idea. That's amazing, that is. It took 1 day to come up with this idea. 2 hours?
Yeah.
Are we 2 hours in? 1 hour 46 minutes. Wow.
Yeah, that's why sometimes they the brainstorming maybe isn't happening there. They're like, again, I don't know, maybe their focus is a little bit too bad, and maybe they're not freewheeling enough with some of their ideas. Like when they're putting the stuff together. I don't know. With being on the outside looking in, it's hard to know what the break point is, like why some of these opportunities are missed.
I think from the blood count interview, I think I got the feeling that at NRS they're being given a brief description of what like a character is, like a one sentence on what Liu Kang is, for example, and then they're just off to go do it however they want.
You know what it reminds me of? Have you heard of the broken Marvel method with like Marvel Studios now?
Yeah.
I haven't. No.
So the gist of it is they've been putting together movies where they have people just like do concept art of scenes and like action stuff, and they're having directors come in and start directing that stuff, and they're writing the script while they do it to fit what they already have in mind, which to me is totally backwards. And that's why a bunch of their movies now, like the newest Doctor Strange, the second one that came out,
Yeah.
they were writing the script on the day they were filming. They were like doing takes with freshly written scripts.
That's
and then
terrible.
the movie's all disjointed. Yeah, it's awful.
That's
Yeah, the girl
terrible.
who played Rebecca Chavez, the actress, she said that they rewrite it like 40 times.
Yeah, which is crazy. And that to me says like there's too many cooks in the kitchen. There's no vision and no plan. I wonder, listening to Blood Count talk about like, oh, the concept art goes out and then it comes back. Is someone just saying, oh, we want this, and then it comes back and it goes, all right, well, we have this now, use it. And it's like, well, what's the plan? Oh, we'll just, we'll come up with it as we go.
That is
I wonder
absolutely crazy.
I wonder if there's some element to that.
My
Apparently the
profession.
writers.
See, my profession in real life is I'm a building planner, right? You cannot go onto a construction site and say, okay, yeah, we'll just make it up as we go along. Yeah, just put these bricks here. Okay, yeah, stick that pipe up there. Okay, that looks good. That'll work. You're gonna come up with a building where, I don't know, pipes are sticking up here and there. Toilets are over here. The pipes are going up there, somewhere else. It's crazy.
Like
you need to sit in the office and plan it out. You need to plan it first. You need approvals. You need someone to look at the plans, approve them, and say, yep, this works. You need other disciplines to come in and bring their plans to, in conjunction with your own plans, to make sure the plans are all working together. Then you go and construct a building. And these guys are just making up stories on the spot. Seriously.
Did you I don't know if you've ever watched Simpsons, but when the neighborhood got together to rebuild Ned Flanders' house and no one knew what they were doing, they just put together a house and it all collapsed.
That's exactly what would happen.
Yep.
So like I do wonder if there's an element to that of how they're doing their game design at NetherRealm. Because, like, it was just a huge red flag to me to hear Blood Count say they just were like, oh, you're just going to do Liu Kang. Because, like, I can't imagine Capcom going to a brand new person and going, oh, yeah, you'll just be in charge of Ryu for this game for Street Fighter 5 or 6 or 7. That's never going to happen. Like, it's so core to the identity of the game you feel like that would be really involved. Like, oh, this is one of our major characters. Everything kind of radiates out from this character, so we really got to pay attention to this and know what we want instead of just do whatever.
That sounds so incompetent if that's the case. Like really, really incompetent. Like,
Definitely.
where did they get these people from? Are they
Yeah.
okay? So in NRS, I'm guessing it's the old team, for example, Ed Boon and all them, and then there's a young team, which probably came out of university. But people in the middle, there's nobody in the middle.
Probably.
That's what it sounds like.
Ed to me does not come off as a strong lead.
Definitely. And I'm not
And, like,
taking a dig at Ed Boon as well, but
Yeah.
it's true.
I mean, I like Ed Boon just fine. I don't think he has any ill intent, and I don't think, like, he's not someone out there like, what's his name in charge of Bethesda, where it's just lie after lie after lie after, like, misrepresentation.
Oh
It's
yeah, I
crazy.
know that guy. Yeah, I forgot his name.
Yeah, I can't be bothered to remember his name, but we all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't feel that way, but sometimes nice guys have problems being a boss.
hmm
And then you get people just kind of doing whatever, and I'm not even assuming malicious intent on those people's part. But
Yeah.
if you don't have someone steering the ship, you're going to run into situations where everything's just all over the place.
Exactly. Everyone can be well-meaning, but if someone's not steering the ship and making sure everything's going the right way, you don't even have to be mean about it. If someone comes up with an idea and it's a shit idea, just say, look, maybe we can tweak it this way.
Mhm.
I can't believe it now. I'm telling someone else like Ed Boon how to do a job. Oh man, we've come to this day.
Well, I think the thing is, like, because, you said positivity is a good thing, which it is. I do think people are too quick to assume malicious intent or like that people are trying to subvert this or do something insidious or like
Yeah.
this person's just really bad at their job. I think a lot of people there are probably very good at their job, but
Yeah.
just because you took every good player on the NBA doesn't mean you're going to make the dream team. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that to make that happen.
Exactly. I agree 100%. It doesn't mean that people have bad intentions. It's just not organized in the right way. The people who's supposed to be leading how it's supposed to go, they're not leading.
Yeah, it's not coming together. And like, I do think, and I don't think we've done that there. I've never really heard you do it, Napper, with people. Like, you don't, like, viciously, like, attack people that are, like, doing their job and just doing whatever. You might say their output is shit, but I mean, that's just reality. If someone can do their best on a movie and make a movie that's just bad, sorry. Like, I don't want you to die. I don't want you to burn in hell for it. It's like, sorry, dude, your movie's bad.
Yeah,
In this
exactly.
case,
Like,
sorry, the game's bad.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not after people. You must have noticed in my rant videos, or somebody must have noticed that I don't attack real life people. When I'm ranting against a game character. So I can just go full ham on the game character because no one's gonna get hurt if I'm just dissing Raiden and calling him a little bitch. Like, who's gonna get hurt if I'm calling Raiden a little bitch? At most, it's probably the voice actor. If he heard that, then he'd probably feel bad, but yeah, so I don't have ill feelings towards Dominic. Yeah, maybe I do.
I heard the pain in your voice.
I don't hate Dominic Cianciolo. I don't, but he's not the guy. He's not the guy to be writing the story for MK. Just please stop. It's like, I like my kids, right? But I'm not gonna take them to work with me and say, hey, you start doing a building plan. And then they're gonna sketch a little house and I'm gonna take that and say, yep, this is really good. I'm gonna go and submit that now to the building planners, approval people.
You know what I'd love to get your take on, Napper?
Yeah.
Have you ever read any of the Mortal Kombat comics?
Actually, I haven't. I would like to, but I wasn't really much of a comic book person. I've only recently got into manga now. I've got the Fist of the North Star mangas. I'm after the volume 3.
I would love to see like what your feelings from Mortal Kombat, like the Mortal Kombat X comics are, or maybe even including the original like Tobias comics, just to see what like, because I thought the
Mhm.
Mortal Kombat X comics were pretty darn good. I thought they were pretty
Yeah.
enjoyable. I didn't agree with everything,
Mhm.
but I read them and I was pretty happy with them. And I do wonder what like your takeaway would be, like if you would think it feels like Mortal Kombat.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. If you can help me out with a link to like find what I'm supposed to be looking for exactly, then I
Yeah, I have
could.
a copy.
Yeah, cool. I'll have a look at those. Okay.
I will at least say it has great art.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't even seen any of it at all. I've seen one picture of Havoc. When I was searching for pictures of Havoc, I saw a comic book picture of Havoc, which I used in one of my videos, but that's about it.
I'll be your comic book hookup. Don't worry.
Cool, cool. Is there anything else left to say? I feel like if I turn off the stream, I mean, this recording, I'm gonna think of something up on the spot which I forgot to mention.
That's the way it always is.
I think we should do this again sometime and make a wish list of what we want from the next MK.
I'd totally be down for that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you two other guys, thanks for your contributions. Like, you really helped this recording get off the ground. Thank you. I said thank you.
You're
They're
welcome.
both gonna jump in at once.
You're
Guys,
welcome.
calm down. Calm
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
You're
Calm
too
down.
much.
Gosh. Alright, so I guess this recording is gonna end now then. Well, we'll make a short conclusion. My short conclusion: Mortal Kombat needs better direction, and when it gets better direction from a leader who's actually gonna come and say, this is our vision for Mortal Kombat, this is how we want it to be, only then can it heal and fix and produce a good product. That's my conclusion. Everyone else, what's yours?
I would say the next. Keep it simple. Keep it casual. We need to remember those two things with Mortal Kombat. It's what brought people to the game. It's what keeps people in the series.
Okay. Guillermo?
So the next MK game, I hope it's going to be like a new direction, new writer. Also maybe a remake the old MK games.
Okay. And you, Kortez?
Mortal Kombat needs to be Mortal Kombat again.
Wow.
Make
That's
make
the
Mortal
best.
Kombat Mortal Kombat again.
Make Mortal Kombat great again.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right then. Thanks for your times, peoples.
Yeah, good chat.
It was a good chat. I'm gonna stop the recording now.